Oh yeah, this one, right? All right, so let me make it a little bigger. All right, so this is a question, and I want you to look at the second question. So this is a food web. I'm not going to tell you who the producers or the consumers are or the decomposers. Thank you for muting yourself. But the question says, what will happen? And let me maybe bring the colors. What will happen if we remove? I'm sorry. What will happen if we remove the frogs? So if the frog population decreases, what's going to happen with the trouts? That's a question this 8th grade exam asked right here, if you want to read this part. And I want to see who can answer that question. If you have an answer, please write me or answer in the chat. What's going to happen with the trouts if we remove the frogs? Enrique, really fast. Let's give time. I'm going to call you, but let me give time for people to really read it. So we're asking what happens with the trouts if we remove the frogs. Look at this, they're not connected. So the frogs are not eating trouts, the trouts are not eating frogs, but they have something in common. They're eating the same caterpillars. So take a look at that. And the question is, if the frog population decreases, what's going to happen with the trout? If the question itself asks, why is it increasing? Okay, so it already tells you that the trout is increasing when we remove the frogs. Why is that happening? All right, so Enrique, you answer first. You can unmute yourself. What's up?
The caterpillars, so all the caterpillars that the trout eats gonna only go to the trout instead of the frog.
Okay.
And the trout population will increase because he got the most caterpillars to eat.
I like that. So Enrique went step by step. He said, first, when you decrease the frogs, the first thing is that's going to happen is that the caterpillars are going to increase because they're not going to be eaten by the frogs anymore. So their caterpillars are going to increase. That means that the trouts suddenly have more food available. There is more food for the trouts, so they can reproduce more and they can have more trouts. So the population of the trouts, it's going to increase because you're increasing the food. And that's something that we see in these sort of questions that they ask us is why something that is not related to here directly is affected by removing this animal. Okay, so just like the question with the shark or everything else, any other question that we saw that is similar is asking. Let me see if we can actually, and yeah, you guys, I see your answers in the chat. Really questions, really good answers. I was gonna say something. Oh yeah. So the next question is for me, is not in the test, but it's probably something you would see in the test. What will happen to the grass? So we're removing the frogs. What do you think is gonna happen with the grass? Is it gonna increase or decrease? Anybody wants to answer? What's gonna happen with the grass if you remove the frogs? Okay, so Anderlis, you wanna unmute yourself? What's up? Increase. I see a lot of increase in decrease. All right.
The grass will decrease because there will be more caterpillars that eat it, and then the rabbits wouldn't have that much food, but they would still have that.
Okay, so Anderlis went the extra step. So Anderlis correctly. So you increase the caterpillars. That means that there is more consumers, primary consumers eating the grass. That means you're gonna have less grass. You're gonna run out of grass. And then she went the extra step and she said, you know what? If there is less grass, then your rabbits are probably gonna decrease because they're not gonna have that much food. And guess what? When you don't have enough rabbits, you're gonna see those charts, just like the fox. The fox is probably gonna decrease as well. So you could go as many steps as you want, as long as you use those arguments that you see here to answer that question. The people grading that 8th grade exam are gonna be happy with you, are gonna be happy with your answer because you're using arguments from this graph incorporated into your answers. So that's what matters in these sort of exams and in the homeworks and in the assignments and in the quizzes, is that you use the arguments just like in social studies and ELA. You use the evidence that you see in here and you incorporate it in your answer. Could be one sentence, could be 2 sentences, could be whatever you want, as long as you use at least one piece of evidence, that's perfectly fine.